Finn and I had been married for 5 years. To everyone, we were the perfect couple, living a life many envied. But behind closed doors, our reality was far from perfect. It was a carefully constructed illusion, and that night, every single crack in the facade shattered. It was our 5th anniversary. I had planned everything meticulously: a romantic dinner at home, his favorite meal, a bottle of expensive champagne we had been saving. I wanted to recapture the magic we once had, the magic that had slowly faded over the past year. Finn had been distant, working late almost every night, his phone always face down, and his smiles never quite reaching his eyes. I told myself it was just stress from work. I wanted to believe it. I needed to believe it. He called me around 6, his voice strained. "Ivy, I'm so sorry, something's come up at work. I don't think I can make it for dinner. Can we celebrate this weekend?" The familiar excuse. Disappointment washed over me, cold and heavy. "Of course, Finn, I understand. Work is important," I replied, my voice betraying none of the hurt. After hanging up, I stood in our perfectly decorated dining room, the aroma of the cooling dinner mocking me. I blew out the candles one by one, each flame extinguishing a little piece of my hope. Instead of wallowing, a strange sense of resolve took over me. I packed up the food, put it in a basket, and decided to surprise him at his office. A grand romantic gesture, I thought. Maybe seeing me would remind him of what he was missing, of what we were fighting for. The drive to his downtown office was a blur of city lights and a pounding heart. I rehearsed my cheerful greeting. "Surprise! If you can't come to the party will come to you." When I arrived at his office building, the security guard, a friendly man named George, whom I knew well, looked surprised to see me. "Mrs. Evans, what brings you here so late?" I smiled, holding up the basket. "Bringing my hard-working husband some anniversary dinner." George's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of something I couldn't quite place. "Oh well, Mr. Evans left about an hour ago," he said, avoiding my eyes. My smile faltered. "Left? But he said he had to work late. Did he say where he was going?" George shuffled his feet. He got a call. Said it was an emergency." "An emergency?" A cold dread began to creep up my spine. Finn would have called me if there was a real emergency. "Thanks, George," I murmured, turning away, the heavy basket now feeling like a block of lead. My mind was racing. Where could he be? The lies were starting to stack up, each one more transparent than the last. I drove aimlessly for a while, my cheerful plan turning into a nightmare. Then a thought struck me, a memory from a few weeks ago. Finn had mentioned a new client he had to meet for dinner at a trendy restaurant on the other side of town called the Gilded Lily. He had been vague about the details, but I remembered the name because it sounded so romantic. On a whim, a desperate, gut-wrenching whim, I pointed the car in that direction. Parking a block away, I walked towards the restaurant. The Gilded Lily was just as I imagined, intimate, dimly lit, with soft music spilling onto the street. My hands were trembling as I peered through the large glass window. And then I saw him. Finn. He wasn't alone. He was sitting across from a woman, her back to me. They were holding hands across the table, leaning in close, their faces illuminated by the candlelight. He was smiling, a real genuine smile that I hadn't seen in months. It was a smile he used to give only to me. He leaned in and kissed her. It wasn't a friendly peck. It was a deep, passionate kiss, the kind that leaves no room for doubt. The world around me dissolved. The sounds of the city faded into a dull roar in my ears. The woman turned her head slightly, and my heart stopped. It was my best friend, Clara, who had consoled me just last week when I cried about Finn's distance. Clara, who had helped me pick out my anniversary dress. I couldn't breathe. It felt like the air had been punched out of my lungs. I stumbled back from the window, my body shaking uncontrollably. Every late night at work, every canceled plan, every vague text message, it all clicked into place. The puzzle was complete, and the picture it formed was hideous. It wasn't just a betrayal. It was a conspiracy. The two people I trusted most in the world had been laughing at me, living a secret life behind my back. I don't know how long I stood there on that cold pavement, frozen by the sheer magnitude of their deceit. I finally managed to walk back to my car, my legs feeling like they didn't belong to me. The drive home was a silent scream. I didn't cry. I was beyond tears. I was in a state of shock, a chilling clarity washing over me. When I got home, the first thing I did was take off my wedding ring. I placed it on the dining table, right next to his untouched place setting. Then, I went to our bedroom, a room that now felt like a stranger's. I opened his closet, his drawers, and I started packing. Not my things, but his. I folded his expensive suits, his casual shirts, his gym clothes. Each item was a memory, a ghost of the man I thought I knew. I packed them all neatly into his suitcases. Around midnight, I heard his key in the lock. I was sitting on the sofa in the dark, waiting. He walked in, humming a little tune, The Picture of Innocence. "Ivy, you're still up?" he asked, flicking on the light. Then he saw the suitcases lined up by the door. His humming stopped. His face went pale. "What's this? Are you going somewhere?" I stood up, my voice eerily calm. "No, Finn, you are." I walked over to the dining table and picked up my phone. I had taken a picture through the restaurant window. A blurry, terrible picture, but the image was undeniable. I showed it to him. "How was your anniversary dinner at the Gilded Lily? I hope you and Clara enjoyed the champagne." The color drained completely from his face. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. For the first time, Finn, the man who always had a smooth excuse, was utterly speechless. Every lie he had ever told me was exposed in that one deafening moment of silence. He looked at the picture, then at me, and the mask finally fell. I saw him not as my husband, but as a stranger, a coward. "Ivy, I can't explain," he stammered, the words hollow and meaningless. "There's nothing to explain, Finn," I said, my voice finally breaking, but not with sadness, with a steely strength I never knew I possessed. "You've explained everything already, every late night, every lie. It's all perfectly clear now. That night, my marriage ended. The life I had built, the future I had dreamed of, it all came crashing down. But as I watched him drag his suitcases out the door, closing in on 5 years of lies, I didn't feel despair. I felt a strange, unexpected sense of freedom. The truth, as devastating as it was, had set me free. My perfect life had been a beautiful lie. And now, for the first time in a long time, I was facing a real, honest, and uncertain future. And I was ready for it. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that your strength is greater than your pain. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.